Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're taking Arcadia Foundry's massive 400-year predictive model and translating it into a highly strategic roadmap for today's city leaders. If you're involved in shaping the future of our urban environments, the data and timelines we're about to explore offer a fascinating and honestly at times harrowing look at exactly where our decisions today might take us over the next 4 centuries. So, let's dive right in by anchoring ourselves in the core mission of these future predictions. The design team at Arcadia Foundry set out with a very specific dual purpose: a dire warning paired with profound hope. They want to warn humanity about the catastrophic dangers of our current climate trajectory, but equally, they want to illuminate the sheer potential of our species if we can just figure out how to work together. It's a really powerful framing for the roadmap we're about to unpack.
We'll be following a strict chronological timeline today. First, the reckoning and dystopia from 2040 to 2070. Then, the century of retreat from 2100 to 2200. Third, we hit biomimetic architecture in 2250, and finally reaching the AI singularity.
All right, part 1, the reckoning and dystopia, focusing on the consequences of overconsumption.
We're going to track some massive shifts in human behavior here, charting a path from near-total collapse all the way to unimaginable technological and ecological harmony. So let's zoom in on that very first milestone.
Okay, the year is 2040, and the system completely breaks down. The source material is super explicit about this. Our current sustainability initiatives, they fail, globally. Why? Simply put, humanity just can't shake its absolute obsession with overconsumerism. We're basically putting bandages on a broken leg instead of treating the underlying disease. And, unfortunately, we consume our way right past the point of no return, bringing us to a very bleak reality, just 30 years later.
Fast forward to 2070, and we've hit total systemic failure, the dystopian era. For anyone planning city infrastructure today, the living conditions described here are frankly inconceivably depressing. We're talking deeply unhygienic and inhumane living spaces. And the waste management? It's a complete disaster. It's not just overflowing local landfills. The prediction points to massive trash accumulation, literally suffocating the earth and even stretching out into space. It is the ultimate tragic consequence of that overconsumerism we just talked about.
But here is the turning point. And honestly, it's pretty awe-inspiring when you think about it. It literally takes hitting absolute rock bottom, that unhygienic, inhumane brink of destruction in 2070, to finally wake us up. This sheer desperation forces a massive shift. We finally move from overconsumption to actual global cooperation. World governments are backed into a corner and forced to assemble the people of the nations. And out of that immense trial, they hatch the most radical planetary strategy ever conceived.
Which brings us to part 2, the century of retreat, allowing the natural world to recover.
In the year 2100, humanity makes a radical move. We literally abandon the Earth's surface for 50 years. The source material calls this the retreat. It's a calculated, desperate plan to give nature some much-needed rest and recovery. People pack up and move away from the surface, relocating into underground bunkers or hovering floating cities for half a century. It's basically a giant, humbling reset button for our species, giving the biosphere a chance to breathe without our interference.
So, society finally returns to the surface in the year 2200. And guess what? Leaving nature alone worked incredibly well. We step out to find that the environment has flourished outstandingly, the biosphere healed. But here's the crucial takeaway for all of you future city leaders. Humanity doesn't just go back to business as usual. We actually learned our lesson, and this sets the stage for a totally new way of living.
That takes us to section 3, biomimetic architecture and transbotanism, harmonizing science and ecology.
To make absolutely sure we never repeat the mistakes of the past, scientists and Imagineers develop a completely new design philosophy called transbotanism. What is that? Well, it means our technology and architecture now revolve entirely around natural botanical integration. Engineering isn't about rigid mechanical concrete blocks anymore. It's about building systems that act like and seamlessly blend with living plant ecosystems. We finally figure out that true prosperity means building with nature, not on top of it.
For those of you planning the cities of tomorrow, here is the exact scientific pathway to a flourishing city. It's a simple, step-by-step evolution. First, that global governmental assembly in 2070. Second, the strategic surface retreat in 2100. Third, the development of transbotanism in 2200. And finally, step 4, the invention of biomimetic 4-dimensional printing in 2250. Let's look a little closer at that last one, because it's a real game changer.
Okay, it's 2250. Instead of pouring concrete and welding steel, visionaries are using biomimetic 4D printing to literally grow architecture. They take artificially reproduced and edited natural matter, and they print buildings that adapt and grow over time. Imagine bioluminescent street lamps that are actually grown from edited algae, or living, breathing apartment complexes that take root right in the forest floor and actively purify the air as they age. It's wild, right? It allows society to get back to a completely harmonious, routine life.
Just look at this incredible before and after. On one hand, you have the dystopian era of 2070, inconceivably depressing, inhumane, completely suffocated by mismanaged waste. And on the other hand, the flourishing era of 2250, a harmonious routine life with architecture grown directly from nature, representing total ecological integration. It's a stunning visual transformation of our cities, and it was absolutely all made possible by that crucial shift toward global cooperation.
And finally, we arrive at Section 4, reaching the AI Singularity, a Type I Civilization.
Just when you think we've peaked with our 4D grown plant cities, the timeline introduces the ultimate frontier, the singularity. The model predicts that humans will eventually merge completely with artificial intelligence and upload themselves entirely to the digital realm. Powered by key breakthroughs like quantum memory mapping and advanced neural digital interfacing, we literally leave physical existence behind.
This monumental upload solidifies us as a Type I civilization. We've made a complete departure from physicality, and our eyes are now fixated on the next universal challenge. But we have to acknowledge the massive moral trade-offs here. We gain eternal digital life and perfect efficiency, sure, but we give up physical human touch, our biological vulnerability, and the very natural ecosystems we just spent a century healing. It completely redefines the nature of life itself.
So as future city leaders, this brings us to the ultimate question. Looking at this strategic roadmap, are our current policies steering us toward the catastrophic reckoning, or are we ready to embrace global cooperation and build this flourishing future? We know that our current obsession with overconsumerism guarantees a devastating dystopia, but if we have the courage to cooperate, to step back, and integrate with nature, our potential is literally boundless. What decisions will you make today to help us skip the reckoning and start building towards a flourishing future right now?